I've been dreaming about the perfect desk setup for a long time, and like a lot of you probably know from experience, it's been really hard to find exactly what I wanted. But after some new additions here and there, and thanks to my friends over at Desky, I think I finally built it. Everything here was chosen with a purpose, exactly how I wanted, so let's break it all down. The most important part of any setup is obviously the desk, and this one is by far the nicest one I've owned. It's a 16 by 30 of real wood in walnut, and honestly, that was a non-negotiable for me. When you have peripherals that are heavy and expensive, and you're spending this many hours at your desk, a top that flexes ruins the whole experience. This one is incredibly sturdy, the motors are whisper quiet while adjusting the height, and if you want to take this a step further, you can control the height preset right from your phone. Okay, let me see if this actually works. Hey Siri, Desky up. Works. Something that I really appreciate about this desk that is not extremely common, at least for the ones that I've built before, is that every hole here comes with inserts. That makes the whole assembly process clean and straightforward without any extra tools, not making your own holes, and none of that headache. At the end of the day, quality isn't just the materials, it's also about how thoughtfully something is designed. This time around, I also went with the monitor riser as well, and it's built to match the same hardwood walnut style of the desk. I genuinely think this accessory takes the setup a notch higher, both aesthetically and for functionality. On the aesthetic side, it helps the cable management for those cables that are just impossible to hide behind the desk, while also giving you extra space to store peripherals and other accessories. On the functional side, the monitors sit at a more natural viewing angle, which you'll feel the difference in long working sessions, and honestly, it just looks really good, and it ties everything together and makes the whole setup feel more complete in my opinion. And speaking of cables, check this out. I'm not going to pretend I'm a professional when it comes to cable management or hiding cables in a desk, but Desky made it genuinely easy with their integrated cable and data channels. It basically tucks everything inside and puts all of your connections in one place, which is always the hardest part for me personally. This setup made that whole tedious process a lot more manageable. But honestly guys, I think cable management is one of the most underrated parts of any setup. It's always worth taking the time to get it right, and the good thing is that it's one of those things that you only have to do once for every setup that you build. So spend the time, do it well, and just save yourself some headache in the future. Now, if you look at my setup, you'll see something I've wanted for a while, and it's a dual studio display setup. The brand new studio display XDR on the right and my original studio display on the left, daisy chained together, all powered by my M3 Max MacBook Pro. Clean, simple, and exactly how I wanted it. If you put these two side by side with the screens off, they're almost identical. It's the same aluminum, same design language, but the moment you pick up the XDR, you feel the difference. It's heavier and it has a little bit more to it. The tilt and high adjustable stand comes standard on this one too, so you don't have to pay extra like you did with the studio display if you wanted that upgrade. Honestly, once you have it, you can go back. I find myself adjusting this quite often just to find the perfect viewing angle depending on what I'm doing. Also, the audio on the XDR is really good. You can keep your setup clean without additional speakers if you want to, and I promise you, you'll be more than happy with the sound quality. I also went with nanotection on my XDR, and wow, it's definitely worth it. My all studio display didn't have it, and it wasn't a deal breaker on that setup if you have a control environment, but the second you open a window or turn the lights on, the difference is immediately noticeable. Basically, now it has zero reflections, and contrary to what people say, the colors still look really good, and I feel like I have really good contrast even with the nanotexture, so the colors are not really sacrificed here. Plus, I don't really think now the studio displays have any real competition out there from other companies. But yeah, as a creator, a dual studio display is the dream. It's expensive, but totally worth it. The M3 Max MacBook Pro is what powers everything here. For a while, I was running a Mac Studio, and objectively, it was a better and cheaper option, but my needs have shifted a bit since then. Because of work, I travel pretty often now, and having that level of power available wherever I go generally makes a difference. This one is basically maxed out. I have 120 gigs of unified memory and 4 TB of storage, and honestly, not having to carry external SSDs everywhere has been a complete game changer, especially with the prices of those things nowadays. Now, here's the thing. I actually picked this up refurbished on eBay for a really good price, and I always try to encourage you guys to look at the used market before buying a new MacBook Pro, because Apple Silicon is incredibly powerful, and even if you go a couple of generations back, you're more likely covering all of your bases when it comes to work. And if you ask me, it's way more valuable to save some money and spec out an older M chip than to buy a newer one that is base model. It's going to serve you way better in almost every situation. The only reason I personally consider upgrading at this point is only when that new redesigned MacBook Pro eventually comes out, but honestly at this point almost all of them are great, so you really can't go wrong. The Desky app allows you to use a Bluetooth controller in ways that you typically don't get to do in a regular desk, like controlling your RGB lighting on the controller, which is really nice. I can change from any color I want. Also, a set sedentary reminder that lets you put a timer on how often you want to stand up, and also a bunch of app features that you can control directly from your phone. It's super useful, and I really haven't seen any other desk providing so many features like this one. The Desky Open Mobile Pedestal is another new addition to the setup. It matches the Walnut theme I'm going for perfectly, and I really love how everything looks together. For me, it works as a dedicated spot to store the tech accessories I reach for often, but I don't want sitting on my desk taking space. It keeps everything accessible without adding clutter to my workspace, which is exactly what I needed. The bottom is also roomy enough to store bags that I grab regularly, and I love having everything in one space that looks neat and matches the setup. It's minimal without sacrificing on quality because it feels as premium as my desk, just in a much smaller version, of course. My mouse and keyboard are sitting on this desk mat from Delta Hub. I've had it for a while now, and it's definitely holding up pretty well. Although recently it started showing up his age because it's been a couple of years already, but I still love this thing. It feels premium, the materials are high quality, and it's generally comfortable to work for long sessions. It fits the aesthetic of the desk really nicely, and more importantly, it's easy to clean, which matters more than people give it credit for. I believe this is the largest size they offer, but I'll look it up first and I'll put it in the description if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot of better options out there, but for the price, this one is really hard to beat. And at this point, it has proven itself enough to the point that I think that whenever this one goes bad enough, I'm probably just gonna buy it again because I really like how it looks, how it feels, and for the price, I don't think I really can get anything better. When it comes to the mouse and keyboard, I've been loyal to the MX Duo, the MX Keys, and the MX Master 3S. These two have been part of my setup for a very long time, so you guys probably have seen it in many of my videos. The low profile just works for me, and the typing experience is really similar to typing on a MacBook itself, which makes the transition seamless for me. The only thing that is missing is the fingerprint sensor, and I'm not gonna pretend that it doesn't bother me a little because it does, but this keyboard is pretty much perfect for my needs. It has good battery, it's responsive, and it's also low profile, and those things are honestly the one parts that are the most important for me when I look at a keyboard, and this one just have everything that I need. And now the MX Master 3S, you guys already know, the comfort and customization of this thing are hard to beat. The app-specific shortcuts makes it really special for productivity, but beyond that, it's just the most comfortable mouse I've ever used. And you guys probably can agree with this too if you've tried it before, but it's really good. But if you haven't tried the 3S yet, the 4S is already out, so you're probably better off buying that one instead. The DaVinci micro panel is honestly one of my favorite things on this desk. I've gotten more and more into color grading over time, and here's the thing. There's something this panel lets you do that you cannot technically achieve with mouse and keyboard, but that's not really the point here. What really makes it special is the level of control you get with the fine adjustments. The mouse just doesn't come close to that experience, and once you get familiar with all the shortcuts you can achieve in this board, you'll navigate the color page in DaVinci in a way that genuinely feels very different. The micro panel was actually designed with the iPad in mind. That's why it has that slot in the front, but its size ended up being exactly what I was looking for a desk setup like this. And now to wrap things up, these two pieces of gear are responsible for the audio you're hearing right now. First is the Scarlett 2i2. It has enough preamp gain to drive the Shure SM7B without needing a cloud lifter. And even though it's a dual channel, I only ever use it with one XLR input. I do monitor my audio while I'm recording sometimes, but honestly, my usage is pretty simple. This thing is straightforward, and I'm not doing anything fancy with it to be honest, but it just works very well for what I do. For the mic, I went with the Shure SM7DB, which is basically the same as the SM7B, but with a built-in preamp. And that built-in preamp is a key difference here. It means I don't have to crank my gain as high to get a clean signal, so there's a lot less noise while recording. With my setup right now, plus 28 dB of gain is more than enough, and I end up with plenty of headroom to shape my audio however I want in post, so it works really well. But yeah, that's pretty much my full desk setup. There's definitely more to the studio, like lights, a couch, toolbox, but the ones that I cover here are the pieces that actually matter for how I work day to day. Nothing crazy, just the things that fit my workflow, and honestly, I think that's the best part about desk setup. Everyone is a little bit different, so what works for me not necessarily works for you, and vice versa. So yeah, I hope that this gave you some inspiration for your next build. Everything I mentioned will be linked in the description if you want to check it out by chance, and if there's something you think I should try, let me know in the comments and I would love to look into it. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all on the next one. Take care. Bye. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna take you out.